smashing. Karan, Bloodywood, finally playing Glasgow after how many delays?
2 years.
2 years.
Almost 2 years, yeah.
And a venue upgrade in the meantime?
Yeah, several I think.
Yeah, because it was a Cat House originally, which is a lovely venue.
Yeah.
This place is about double the size and sold it out as well.
Yeah. We're very excited. I've never been to this part, so everyone's very excited. So.
Fantastic. How's the tour been going so far? It's just the UK leg now, is it?
Yeah, we've just got 5 more shows to go. This is actually the 5th, so after today it will be 4 more shows to go.
Yep.
This has been by far our most tedious tour in terms of lack of breaks because we were playing I think 23 shows in 25 days. Yeah. So wow, I shouldn't put that off, but we're good, man. We'll still give our 100% every day on stage. So, and the people have been very nice. So.
I mean, the growth of Bloodywood has been quite sudden. When you started off in 2016 as a small band, you apparently gave up a legal career, or yeah, I mean that's. I don't know if it's from Indian family. How did your parents react to that?
Well, not very nicely, but I lied to them. I told them I'm working on a startup, so they were half okay with it.
It's kind of true.
Yeah. So yeah, I really maneuvered my way out of that, but they're very happy now.
Yeah. So how did you? What was the decision to go full time with the band? Because most people, if they start a band, it will go, it's a hobby, we'll do it part time. Why finish one job and go all in with what was to become Bloodywood?
I guess I've just always been this way. I can't multitask at all. So it's just one thing at a time for me. So it was either focus on my job or focus on what I really want to do. And of course, I chose the latter. So yeah, it wasn't a tough decision, to be honest. It's a horrible job. Being a corporate lawyer in India, you don't want to do that.
Okay, no corporate lawyers, play guitar in a band instead. So you started off just doing covers and so forth. There's quite a few of them popped up and about, but the big boost was with Ari, which I gather was shared by one of the Bloodywood actresses. That was the first major thing that hit the social media.
I would say, amongst our covers, that was the most popular one.
Yeah, because that's something a lot of people don't realise, that is actually a cover version.
It's a cover of a folk song, so legally it's not a cover, but also it's in this grey area where it can be called a cover. So we just call it a cover so that we're safe legally.
Well, to be fair, there's an awful lot of bands, and if you do a small amount of research, so many of them, some of their biggest songs were cover versions and nobody knows. When Smoking in the Boys' Room.
I mean,
that was a cover version.
I don't know about that song. Sorry.
Fair enough.
I'm really bad with music knowledge. I just know how to make music.
And that's been proven. You're the main songwriter for the band as well.
Yes.
And the one thing I've noticed, you tend to be quite quiet on stage compared to everyone else. You got your 2 front men at the front who seem to soak all the attention. You just seem to be just at the back, just focus on the guitar, and occasionally you let loose. You just seem a sort of calm guy at the back, and nobody realises you're actually the brains behind the whole outfit.
Oh, fuck, man, you're the first person to say that. I thought I was going hard on stage. But okay.
It's more just those 2 guys at the front, and it's just yourself.
Yeah, we're still playing smaller stages, and we're like 6 people on stage. So it's kind of, because we've got so many vocals, the vocals dominate the songs, right? There's very less space for instrumentals, so instrumental sections. So it's, we plan it this way that wherever there's space, we get the center stage, and whenever they need to say something, they get the center stage. But once we move on to bigger stages, you will hopefully see how I'm going on stage and not feel that I'm being quiet.
I mean, I have to say, this will be the 4th time I've seen your thing. So I saw you at London the first time you played, and saw you back in about a week or so after that.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I was going mental, so I had no idea what you were doing on stage. And then of course, Bloodstock last year was an amazing performance.
Wow, okay, we're there.
I was at the back just before Machine Head came on, so I was watching you from a distance. That was what day? I mean, the weather for us was mental.
That was like we chose to play. I mean, we didn't choose. I mean, the weather chose to be the hottest ever in the UK on that particular day, and the sun was beating down on us on that stage, and we were like, wow, this feels like home.
I was just going to say, I've been to India, I've been to Delhi, and it's like the heat's different over there.
it hits different. It goes right through you.
So back to the instruments, because guitar's obviously your focus. You play a couple of other wind instruments and so forth. So how many instruments do you play?
So I know how to play the guitar. Everyone knows how to play bass. I know how to program drums. I know some piano. I tried to learn the sarangi so I can play a few notes on it. The Esraj, just too many to list down, to be honest. Yeah, but I'm not good at any of this. Like I just know how to play them and just get what I need out of them.
So you kind of conjure and create and then kind of pass it off to somebody else who knows what they're...
No. We record all of our own instruments. But I'd say I'm not a maestro of any, so I just get what I need out of them, and they fit very nicely in the songs. And I feel which is why our music is very easy to understand. There is not a lot of complication, not a lot of fast riffing. There is some fast riffing, but not a lot of complicated melodies and stuff. So
I think it's the simple melodies and the hard riffs.
Yeah.
And the rhythm.
Yeah.
As well. You're quite a mixture of two big musical genres. You've got the traditional Indian music and you've got the heavy metal music. Which would you say leads a song in the writing? Do you tend to go for the Indian melodies first and the metal melodies and then bring the Indian music in?
That's a very good question. Because it's a different story with every song. It's all like every song is just unique. Sometimes it started with a riff. Sometimes it started with a song name. For example, Katiyar started with a song name. And the rest I just plucked them out of the air. I'd say generally it's metal first. So I try to first come up with the heavy sections first, and then when it comes to the melodies, I focus more on the Indian side of things. Except when it comes to the dole or the percussions that are beyond the drums, all of those are Indian. So I'd say it's definitely more metal than Indian. Just a touch of Indian, so that it's relatable to everyone. And we like it that way because you can very easily do the Indian element, overdo the Indian, so it doesn't sound as good. Because the thing about Indian folk music and Indian classical music is it's very drone based. Okay, you won't ever. You could come across chord changes, but generally it's more of a solo performance than an ensemble or something like that. So yeah, so that's why we find that sweet spot where everything fits nicely.
And in terms of the lyrics, is that still yourself, or did the other two tracks have been?
No. We all the three of us contributed to the lyrics.
And the focus on all the lyrics, and that's also been picked up. You've done bullying, you've done depression. Was that always a focus when you're going to write the music, that you wanted to have some coverage of that?
Yeah. When we, even before we started writing our first original, we had this discussion amongst us. What do we want to write about? Because this is what we're going to be known about, and it just came like naturally to us to write about things that aren't spoken about. So and things that are close to us in general, like experiences in our lives and experiences in the people's lives that are around us. So we wanted to speak about those things because with the success of our the things we did before, we felt like we got really lucky with the platform, and there's a we wanted to in a way justify that luck by making anyone's day easier if they listen to our music. So.
Yeah. Well, as somebody who's got knowledge of depression, I don't want to say thank you for that. Just drop that in there because it is something which you're absolutely right. Not enough bands talk about it, not enough people talk about it, and getting it out there in front of a crowd. One of the most amazing moments was particularly back when you said who here knows somebody who's suffering from depression. It's part of the set. The number of hands that goes up. It is such a common problem.
Yeah, it is.
It needs to be. People need to be more aware of it, and be more aware that they can talk about it.
Right.
And that, I think, for a lot of people, is a good first step. It's just looking around and going, shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not myself.
It's always a very revealing experience that happens.
Yeah. Talk about from back to India again. What's the Indian scene like? Have you been big in India, or have you found it's just more outside of India? I don't know what the metal scene's like in India.
Right. Well, tell you that we definitely cannot get 1,400 people in a club. That's not happening. I mean, not happening anytime soon, but our Indian agent feels otherwise. But this year and the past year have been really good for us in India because we got booked for many festivals. It was our festival debut in India also. We had played any festival in India before that. So we played several festivals that were very strictly at most rock. Okay,
Yeah.
they did not have metal acts at all.
Okay.
But we find ourselves in a very special situation where we're okay playing those festivals also because people are very receptive of our music because we're not the heaviest band on the planet. But I feel like the Indian scene, if you talk purely in terms of metal, it's there for sure. I don't know whether it's growing or reducing, but it's not going away. I can tell you that.
That's good.
Yeah. But in terms of music in general, it's fucking India, man. It's huge.
Yeah.
Like Bollywood and everything. Music is just like it's in our DNA. If you, I'm sure when you were in India, you heard music all around you, whether it was in shops, on the street, in autos, people just keep blasting music all the time.
Yeah, took some stereos in the bar.
Yeah.
It is. It's part of the noise is the revving of the engine. The other noise is just the massive stereo.
And the honking and the cows and the dogs and
the buses.
Yeah.
No, it is non-stop.
Yeah.
Are there any other bands from India you can name that we maybe should be keeping an eye out for? Chance to give some other bands a plug.
Yeah. My favorite band from India is this band called Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express?
Yeah. Then, of course, there's Demonic Resurrection.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
So Sahil, the guy who leads the band, he's played UK several times.
It's just something you're releasing, I think.
Yes, very recently, yeah. Then there's Sky Harbor, one of my favorite bands again from India. They play what people call gent, but I like to call it progressive music in general.
So many grey areas.
Yeah. So those are the three that are at the top of my head right now. So I'd say definitely check out Pineapple Express, Demonic Resurrection, and Sky Harbor.
Fantastic. Last obvious question is, what next? I mean, you've ramped your venues up here, you've done a massive tour, you're going to exhaust yourself. I presume you're going to go home and have a chill out after all this is finished, but are we looking at a new album, or are we looking at what?
Well, we have 5 more shows to go here, and then we go home for about 3 weeks. Then we head out to the US for a month-long tour.
And that's a hell of a lineup as well.
Oh yeah. With Vended and Orgasm, that's what we're saying. And then from the US we go directly to Europe again for the festivals. And then we're going to go to one other country that's going to be announced soon. I hope I didn't point towards it.
I don't even know what direction we're facing. Northwest, Antarctica. Iceland.
I love that, but
In fact, it's Iceland.
no, it's not
It's Iceland. Okay.
And then we head back to India and we start working on the second album. And we have to work really fast because we're already getting booked for 2024. So it's very scary. Yeah.
So that gamble, that kicking in the lawyer's job thing seems to have paid off?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm still alive by next year. But I'm not complaining, man. I think I've lived a full life on this tour itself. So, that's really what's up right now.
That's fantastic. Well, we've got an hour to go outdoors, but an hour and a half, 2 hours to you guys on stage. Looking forward to it already. Thank you very much for your time. Hugely appreciate it.
Thank you. See you guys inside.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks.